Hello my friends, Dave Carlo back with you. Today I'm going to start a new series, assuming you like it. You could let me know in the comments if you'd like me to make more of these videos. If you do, I will do that for you. The series is going to be called Road Stories and Riffs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell an anecdote about something that happened during a road trip that Razor took over the years, something of interest, and I'll follow it up with some guitar riffing for you. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. So let's get started. Today, the first road story is coming from 1990 Shotgun Justice Tour, Rochester, New York, and the club was called the Penny Arcade. Now, this was summer of 1990, and it was part of our tour with the band Sacrifice, who were very good friends of ours from Toronto. And we were doing a double bill tour all the way across Canada and some of the northern United States. We were promoting Shotgun Justice, they were promoting Soldiers of Misfortune, which was their third full-length album. You must know who Sacrifice is if you're following me in Razor, because Razor and Sacrifice are very good friends. They are our best friends in the metal community, and we have a history going back to 1984, and so I'm sure that you're familiar with them. And if you aren't, by all means, please check them out, because they're a fantastic band. So we were at this show in 1990, and this club, the Penny Arcade, was one that we had played 2 years previous in 1988 with the band Snow White, which was for our American friends, Z-N-O-W-H-I-T-E, and for the rest of the world it was Z-N-O-W-H-I-T-E, a band from Chicago who are also a fantastic metal band. They're not around anymore. They made a few albums in the 80s and then they disbanded, but what they left behind was some fantastic music which I'm sure you can find on the internet. So I would look them up too. But in any event, the show we did in 1988 with Snow White went off without a hitch. Sold out show, great fans, enthusiastic response for both bands, and treated very well by the promoter. So 2 years later, going back there, this time with Sacrifice, there was no reason to think that there would be any problem at all. But as it turned out, Sacrifice was promoting the album Soldiers of Misfortune, and that's what we were on this night with Sacrifice as well. As it turned out, the promoter skipped out on us and took all the cash and did not pay us. It was a sold-out show, great audience, just an incredible event, and we had no reason to think that we weren't going to get paid. But as the show finished up, we were in the dressing room. Ray Wallace, who was Sacrifice's manager and was the road manager for both bands on the tour, informed us that he was having trouble finding the promoter and that he would keep looking, but he had a little bit of a concern. That didn't make us very happy to hear that, but we figured Ray was on the case. He would get it sorted out for us. Well, unfortunately, that didn't happen, and Ray returned quite a while later telling us, well guys, we got stiffed. Well, that did not sit very well with the Shotgun Justice lineup of Razor. Not known for our sweet disposition, we were pretty pissed. Sacrifice were not happy campers either. And unfortunately, that led to a chain of events which saw us start wrecking things. Now, this is not something I recommend bands do. This was in the 80s, or actually 1990, but this was at a time when we were considerably younger and maybe didn't think everything out as thoroughly as we should have, but we started trashing things because we were angry that we had been burned. Well, I'll give you some examples of some of the things that took place on that trashing. Bob Reed was really leading the way in the anger department. He just was going around doing as much damage as he could. Nothing that was of a major, they weren't going to have to renovate the building or anything, but he did some interesting things. We had some workout equipment, exercise equipment in the dressing room, and there were dumbbells there, and Bob removed the dumbbells from the bars and took the weights and threw them into the toilet. In an aggressive way, the toilet cracked and water was leaking out of it. We had catered food brought in for the show. The promoter brought that in for us. There was roast chickens and all kinds of other stuff. At some point Bob decided that he was going to take a roast chicken, and he opened the light fixture that was in our dressing room, stuffed a roast chicken in it, and sealed it back up. The way I found out was I entered the room, I smelled some food burning, and I looked up at the fixture because it was very dark in the room, and I said, "What the hell is that?" And Bob just looked at me and said, "Chicken!" And then he went on to the next thing he was going to do. Turned out the next thing he was going to do was he found a container of bleach. He took the bleach and he dumped it out onto the carpet of the dressing room in a way as to spell the word fag. Which we didn't see the word fag. I'm sure the bleach eventually would have kicked in on the carpet and left that stain, but Bob poured it in the word fag. Not to offend anybody who might be gay or anything. Back in that era, we were a lot looser with that term than people are these days. So don't want to offend anybody, but that's what we did. Sacrifice had their own things they were doing too at the same time. Adam also, I know he cut some cords that were connected to some switchboard in there. So Adam was doing his own damage as well. I don't remember, I didn't really take part in damaging things. I was more just walking around being pissed off and trying to figure out how we were going to get our money. And, excuse me, but ultimately what happened was we ended up just swiping a few microphones and a few other things to try and get some kind of payment. By the time we were done, I think we had done more damage and taken more gear than what they would have owed us for the fee for the show. Back then we were not that expensive to book. I think both bands, it was $1,500 US for both bands. So it wasn't exactly a ton of money, and the place was sold out. The ticket price more than covered the fees for the bands. There was no excuse for the promoter to skip out on us. And here's the last piece of information about that night that's really kind of interesting and kind of funny. Well, it turns out somebody showed up at our show that we didn't expect to see, and that was the lead singer for the band Foreigner. His name was Lou Gramm at the time. I think they have a new guy now, and of course they're getting older too, but Lou Gramm, who in all honesty is probably one of the greatest vocalists in rock history. He's a fantastic singer. I don't know if you've ever heard Foreigner. It's not our style of music, but Lou Gramm is a fantastic singer. Well, anyway, he was there and he met us, and he was a nice guy. And at one point he was hanging out in the office of the owner of the club. I'm not sure the club itself had anything to do with ripping us off. I think it was the promoter. But having said that, though, when Lou went into the office of the owner, I decided to serenade him with some Foreigner music. So as I was practicing my guitar backstage, I started playing some of the Foreigner songs that I knew. Hot Blooded, Double Vision, some of the other songs. I started playing the riffs outside of the room. Probably annoyed the shit out of him. I don't think he was probably looking for that, but I couldn't help it. And to be honest with you, I am a fan of Foreigner's heavy music. I mean, Foreigner played a lot of ballads and commercial songs too, but when Foreigner decided to play something heavy, they did a good job. They were a band that, they knew how to play a good hard rock song. So anyway, I was a fan of that. I thought it was interesting to throw that in there. He was at the show and he saw Razor and Sacrifice, so that was, we got a kick out of that. But anyway, that's that anecdote. I am going to do some guitar riffing now for you. One last thing I wanted to say. Thank you, my friends, for all the comments on the previous videos. I'm reading all of them. At some point, I may start actually responding to them. If you want a response from me sooner than that, you can always email me. My email shows up at the end of these videos. And it's razordavecarlo@gmail.com, all one word. razordavecarlo is all one word, @gmail.com. You can send me an email direct if you have something you want to ask. There was a question that was asked to me about LA Strike Fest, a 2018 festival that we played with Exciter and Nasty Savage and a host of other good bands. Somebody said, "Hey Dave, what did you think of LA Strike Fest?" That was in the comments. So I'll answer it here really quick. Well, it was a fantastic show. Los Angeles is always fun. Great crowd, great reception. Hanging out with friends of ours in Exciter was fantastic. I love being around Exciter. They're just an awesome band and awesome guys to hang out with. And we met Nasty Savage for the first time. They were awesome guys. Big fan of Nasty Savage too. If you don't know those bands, well, come on. You should check out Nasty Savage and Exciter. Come on, Exciter, you should know Exciter. But my friends, that's it for now. I'm verbose as hell. I taught faster than my previous two videos because I had a lot to say and not very much time to say it. I don't want to drone on and on. On to the riffing.